I don't know. It looked like it came out of her hand, more than like it was from her forced vagina. I'm just saying her forced tuna box vagina probably is what shot the lightning out. I hear it's very angry. I don't know. Hey everybody, Craig here. I'm going to give you a lowdown on The Rise of Skywalker. I know it's been a while since this movie's actually come out in theaters, but I've had time to go over it. This video I'm going to be going over the bad. Next video I'll be going over the good. And then I'll also have The Rise of Skywalker by the numbers coming up in another video. Sit back, relax, and let's all get into The Rise of Skywalker. So here's the bad. Okay, the bad in The Rise of Skywalker is this. There's so many things that just doesn't happen in this movie, okay? One, you know, we start off on the planet of Mustafar. We have trees that apparently can just burn at will and just continue to grow forever, just burning. You know, this scene was actually cut way down. You know, the opening scene in the movie is cut way down. And you can tell that it was a bad, choppy cut edit. It really didn't give you any idea of exactly what was going on. I don't like the idea of calling it a wayfinder. That is just such a cheesy word. They could have just used holocron. And we all know what a holocron is. If you're even remotely familiar with Star Wars, you're going to know exactly what a holocron is. You know, in all the games and everything else, there's holocrons everywhere. So to call it a wayfinder is just, I don't know. It's like somebody came up with it and didn't know exactly what they were talking about. So hey, we'll just call it a wayfinder. So the first problems I have with the movie. The second problem I have with the movie, Palpatine. All right, now I am a big fan of Palpatine, Darth Sidious, however you want to call it. Big fan. And, you know, it was a great character in 1, 2, and 3. Great character, 4, 5, and 6. Didn't even show up in 7. 8, The Last Jedi, the biggest piece of crap ever made. So we had to have a villain. But we're going to pull back Palpatine. Alright, well, even according to canon, before this movie came out, and this is Disney canon, this isn't Lucas canon now, this is Disney canon. Palpatine was dead. Granted, I had told everybody, I don't know, a year before this movie came out that Palpatine was going to be in it, and I got called a liar and this and that and everything else. Well, guess what? He was in it. Did it make any sense? Absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. Do I like Palpatine as a character? Absolutely. The other thing that I really don't like is now we're only one year past The Last Turd, which was only 4 days past The Force Awakens. And we're to the point now where the first scene that you see of Rey, she's floating 15 foot above the ground, rocks all around her, like she's just, I don't know, it's like something out of a really bad video game. Not a good movie, not a good idea, you know, way overpowered. You know, you thought she was a Mary Sue before. They tried to show you like 4 minutes worth of her training, and, you know, it just didn't work. You know, there's not enough training there. Look at Obi-Wan. You know, he trained since he was, you know, knee-high before Qui-Gon said he was ready for the trial. Rey's had a whole, year and 4 days. And most of that time was spent not training. Way overpowered. Way overpowered. I'm going to try and go chronologically in this thing, but I mean, it's so all over the place in the movie. You know, you'll just have to forgive me if I go back and forth. But anyway, Palpatine, bad idea. This is a really bad idea in the movie. Kylo I thought was one of the good things in the movie. Not the fact that he was overpowered or did anything else. It's just Adam Driver's a really good actor, and for the lack of characters that we actually have in this Disney trilogy. You know, he's probably the only one that's probably your best character, to be honest. So as we go on through, we're going to go to some stuff that I really didn't like. So now we have to go on this quest to go find this other Wayfinder, which, holocron. Why they didn't just say holocron, I don't know. It's really aggravating, really irritating. They go on this, and of course, you know, one of the digs is, you know, Luke couldn't find it. You know, Luke tried to find this thing for blah, 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 and she had went through all this stuff, and Luke was looking for it for years and never found it. Yet, she managed just to stumble right upon it. Coincidence. I guess just coincidence. Her healing ability, you know, that is a real force user power. However, you know, if you could just do that, nobody would ever die. And I know it works well in the video games, but whenever it comes to being in the films, it doesn't really work that much. Otherwise, Obi-Wan could have, you know, learned the skill, and Qui-Gon wouldn't have been gone. But then again, you are talking about the most overpowered Jedi ever. So we're going to skip ahead. This is just things that I don't like. She gets the feeling, you know, they have a chance to escape, but she gets the feeling that Kylo is coming. You know, they're still on the sand planet. Everybody's loading up in the Sith ship, and they're getting ready to leave. Chewie gets caught, blah, blah, blah. She decides that she's going to stop this thing mid-air, full engines going. We saw Luke, after years of training, couldn't even lift his X-Wing out of the swamp. We saw Yoda have to concentrate and concentrate and concentrate just to be able to get it up. But once he got it up and got it moving, everything was great. Rey apparently can just stop everything in midair and pull it back. You know, big mistake. That's way overpowered. And then you see Kylo trying to push it away. And then, of course, she starts getting more and more angry and more angry until Force lightning shoots out. I don't know. It looked like it came out of her hand, more than like it was from her Force vagina. I'm just saying, her Force tuna box vagina probably is what shot the lightning out. I hear it's very angry. I don't know. Anyway, and destroys the ship. Now she has this where she can feel people, but Chewie, immediately, Chewie's dead. Okay, well, you don't even get a chance to mourn the fact that Chewie's dead or digest the fact that Chewie's gone. Because the very next scene, there's Chewie. You know, it's kind of like we're going to build this up, but, you know, we're not going to build it up. Hey, you know, there were 50 scenes in between here and there, and we're just going to cut all those out. So, you know, now you have absolutely no emotional tie to the fact that Chewie's gone, except for about 30 seconds in the movie. Okay, that's not a really good way to draw on somebody's heartstrings there. Now the next thing is you've got Finn. This entire movie, Rey, I need to tell you something. 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 Poe, what do you need to tell her? Well, you know, you ran blah, blah, blah. It completely doesn't matter. Completely doesn't matter at all. You know, he's trying to express the fact that he can use the Force. Not buying it. Anyway, which is probably why it didn't make it into the movie. It just didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work. Finn, they screwed him over in the first one. He really could have been a great character through the trilogy, and you know, that number 8 from Rian Johnson just completely killed everything. As we keep on going through the movie, there's just more and more stuff that just doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't add up. I'm going to skip to one scene in particular, where they're on Endor. This is after she had already found the Sith Knife, which is, what, 40 years old? Not an artifact, it's not an antique, it's not anything else, and just, you know, you pull out the little thing and oh, there it is. This is where the Wayfinder is. completely idiotic. Completely idiotic. Would have worked well if we were going with son and daughter. You get where I'm going. On its own, falls flat. When she does get into Palpatine's throne room, now I do like this scene where she goes in there, grabs the holocron. I'm sorry, Wayfinder. Got to remember who we're dealing with here, Disney. I do like this scene. I like the fact that she can now see who her potential self would be. I thought this would have been a great way to go with it too. And I said this before, for her to turn to the dark side would have been great. It could have negated a whole bunch of stuff, and really, you know, JJ had to spend pretty much the entire movie undoing everything that 8 did, which I thought was a great FU to Rian Johnson. You know, he left him nothing to work with, and to try and make a good movie out of this, just like I said in all of my past videos, there's going to be so much in this movie, and it's going to be crammed up in there, and it's trying to put, you know, so much stuff in such a little bit of time that you're just not going to be able to make a good movie. I do like that throne room scene where she's fighting herself. I do like the fact that, you know, if you stop it, pause it mid-frame, you can see that her teeth are completely pointed from her being a Sith. I think that's a great, you know, it was a good fight scene. And then to immediately get knocked out and then have to deal with Kylo again, you know, these two interactions where, you know, there's a lot more, you know, Bluetooth, forced Bluetooth stuff going on in this movie. Not a real big fan of it. Now they can physically fight each other Bluetooth style. He can reach over and grab stuff Bluetooth style. It doesn't work. It's kind of like the finger sex thing that, you know, Rian Johnson did in, you know, The Last Jedi. It just doesn't work for me. To be able to, you know, sense someone, have thoughts. We saw this between Leia and Luke on Cloud City, where he calls out to Leia. Leia hears it, and they have to turn back. All right, this I can get. This complete. We're going to do a lightsaber fight. I'm on one planet, you're on another planet, or I'm going to grab something off your neck and find out where you are. Wow. You know, I would say, but if it wasn't for YouTube's rules, I would call it exactly how it is. You know, it's a big load of horseshit. But anyway, you know, this is another thing that they got wrong. It just makes the movie bad. I do like the way that they introduced Lando back in. You know, it wasn't over dramatic. It was to the point. You know, there was still mutual respect there. I like the way they handled Lando in Episode 9 versus the way 7 and 8 have completely just obliterated all the original trilogy characters. Never mind the background. Of course, I'm in a different location now, and this is going to be my new background for a little while until I get other things set up. I'm not going to complain because I do have my New Hope Stormtrooper here, and I do have my Revan, my 501st approved Revan. So, and yes, this is a real one. Real Stormtrooper here, real Stormtrooper armor from A New Hope. But we'll get back into the Rise of Skywalker, things that they got wrong. Now, to go to the planet Exegol, you have to have this Wayfinder holocron, because they say of the gravitational eddies and forces and everything else that you have to go this certain path in order to get there. Okay, all right. So none of the ships in the final order that Palpatine has can get out of there without following another ship out of there. Why not give all of the ships the ability to get the hell out of there? No, they have to transfer from ship to ship to ship for the lead ship to lead the rest of them out. It's really stupid. You can put a planet killer on each and every one of these, but you can't put a navigational device on there? I have 3 navigational devices on everything that I own. There's a navigational device on my freaking cell phone. So, for them to have to do that, which is the whole point of, well, this whole final battle that we've got going on, which is just, you know, Space Forces on top of ships. Complete ridiculous. It's just completely ridiculous. We're going to get down to the fight scene between Palpatine. Alright, so I'm sorry, I skipped way too far ahead. I'm going to go back, because that's how this movie is, so that's how this video is going to be. It's all over the place, so this video is probably going to be all over the place. We're going to go back. One scene I did like in the movie, but there's no reason for it to be there. Logically, I guess, is how you'd put it, is when you finally see Han show up. Now, this is after Rey has already stabbed Kylo, force healed him back with a tear in her eye. She leaves in his ship to go to Exegol. And Kylo, all of a sudden, hears, "Hey kiddo," Han right behind him. A really emotional scene, almost verbatim from The Force Awakens, from when they were on the walkway right before Kylo got him with the lightsaber, with a small twist. This is when Kylo decides he's going to turn back to the light side. Now, all of this happens after Leia dies. Leia's last, well, according to Ana's eyes, you know, Leia knew what she had to do, and it was going to take all of her energy in order to do it, which this is turning Kylo back to the light side. Once you turn from light to dark and dark to light, whatever, it happens. Matter of fact, a good example is, well, Revan. Revan started off as a Jedi, went over to the dark side, ended up coming back. It can happen. Now, Leia throws all of her energy into trying to get him back to the light side. She is not, because she is already gone. She is dead. She is not the one that produces the vision of Han. Han's not a Jedi. How is he? He's not a Force ghost. He says that he's a memory, Kylo's memory. Alright, so this is all going on in Kylo's head, I guess. You know, this kid has, I mean, he can manifest all kind of stuff. He can Bluetooth fight. He can force download stuff. Man, he can do everything. He can kill monitors with lightsabers and bust his helmet open, and he could do all kinds of stuff. That scene didn't really work because it's not really planted in any kind of the Star Wars lore. I did like the scene, thought it was very emotional. It could have been done differently. But to be quite honest, that was one of the better scenes in the movie. It just didn't fit with the actual Star Wars lore. Now we can skip over to, now Kylo's on the light side. He's thrown his lightsaber into the sea on Endor. He has magically made his way to Exegol, and now he is going to finally face and this blows my mind because, you know, in 7, you know, the Knights of Ren were amped up. In 8, they weren't even in there. And then come episode 9, they have about 5 minutes of screen time, and they really do absolutely nothing. Well, anyway, he's getting ready to fight him. Doesn't have a lightsaber to do it. Of course, Rey has 2 because Luke had given her Leia's and also his. Now remember, I'm only going to go through the bad in this one. The next video I'll go through the good, so you're going to say, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. Yes, but that's going to be in the next video. So now, he doesn't have anything to fight him with. The Knights of Ren are there. Don't know how. I don't know. They just showed up. So, how's he going to fight him? Well, Rey decides she's going to put a lightsaber behind her back, and they're going to force Bluetooth it to Kylo. So he puts his hand in the same place, and bam, he has a lightsaber, takes out the Knights of Ren in all of about 15 seconds. Oh yeah, these guys were really bad. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fight Palpatine, but you get your first real close-up look at Kylo. Kylo is back to the light side, but if you'll notice, his scar completely gone. The boy has the best complexion ever. Must have been watching these makeup videos on YouTube for a long time in order to get the right product to make that go away. Just because you go from light to dark and dark to light doesn't mean your skin is going to change. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not how any of this works. It's just not how any of this works. Well, anyway, Palpatine dispatches him easily. That is exactly correct. Palpatine should be able to just flick him away. He's drained their life force. Palpatine is back. Okay, as much as I don't like Palpatine in here, I do like Palpatine. He's throwing lightning into the air and completely wreaking havoc with all these shit. That's enormous. If he could do that before, he could have stopped every X-Wing fighter from doing what they needed to do in order to blow up the Death Star. Really bad. The fact that he's beaten so easily by Rey, and all you hear are the voices, which yes, there was a scene actually done where they were going to have the Force Ghost from you know, all the previous users, the Force users, the Jedi. They were going to have this, and yes, that would have made more sense because they're giving her power in order to, but the way it worked out, no. She just hears a bunch of voices in her head, and the next thing you know, she just throws the lightning back on him, and bam, he's killed again by lightning. You know, these are just a few of the things that just absolutely don't make sense in this movie. How did all the ships get there, the rebel ships get there, for this final ship battle, but none of them had a wayfinder in order to get there to go through all these little eddies and everything else? It makes no sense. I mean, it just absolutely makes no sense. Anyway, next video, we're going to go through what's actually good on The Rise of Skywalker, and believe it or not, there are a lot of things that I actually found good in this movie. I'm not one of these people that's just going to, I hate everything. I'm going to go over the good points. Until then, remember to like, subscribe, and share. I'm Craig316. I'll see you on the next video. I am out of here.